All right, so you can see from the last time we were together, step 3, I've gone ahead and finished my weeding of all of my parts, and I've cut my pieces apart so that we can iron them on the bag. Now, before you iron anything on using the Cricut iron-on vinyl, you want to make sure that you've washed your piece of material, whether it's a t-shirt or a bag or a onesie. If it's a new article of clothing, it's going to have something in it called sizing. And when you wash it, it's going to remove that sizing. If you iron the vinyl on before you wash it, you may have the iron-on vinyl shrink in the washer, and so the letters will start to bubble. So I always want to start with washing. Okay, so we're going to remove these for a minute. I'm going to take all these pieces off. So I'm going to set them aside. And the first thing I want to do is kind of just make sure my bag is ironed. It's a cotton bag, so it's got a few little wrinkles in it. I've got my iron on a cotton setting. We want it pretty hot. We're going to use a pressing cloth to make sure that it adheres. So I like to just make sure that my bag and my surface is kind of flat, whatever you're working with. And then I also want to make sure that I kind of start the vinyl off by warming up the bag. It should be hot to the touch, and it's nice and warm now. All right, so I'm going to lay on my pieces. I'm just going to start with one piece at a time. Here's my first piece, and then a cupcake is happiness with. Just want to make sure that I'm getting them all kind of lined up. If you need to, if you feel the need to make sure that everything's right, you can have one of these great little tools with you to space everything out just so. I have about an inch in between these two, and if I want an inch in between these two, I'm going to bring this one down just a little bit. The nice part about the vinyl is that there's clear plastic so you can kind of see it, and then that looks good. I'm going to do my cupcake last, so I'm going to just take this pressing cloth, and like I said, I just have a old flour sack that I use. You can tell it's a little bit worn. And I'm going to just layer a single layer of my flour sack over my letters. I'm going to use the iron now. And I use a press method. I don't know how many of you used some of the old transfer fabrics that we used to be able to make t-shirts and things out of, or sweatshirts, decorating sweatshirts, iron-on transfers. But they had a press and hold method. So it's just 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You have to get them pretty well adhered. Don't worry if your ironing takes a minute, and it's okay to move it back and forth. You want them really stuck on. And it takes a minute. When you've done it for a little bit, you can go ahead and pull it off, and it needs a minute to cool. If you try to pull it off right away, what happens is the vinyl sticks to the plastic rather than the piece of fabric. So I just give it just 30 seconds. Just kind of fan it. And then I'm just going to check a corner. You want to pull at a 45-degree angle. That kind of helps. Okay, and you can see that it's coming off quite nicely. I'm just going to pull again at a 45-degree angle, watching my little bits and pieces, making sure that everything's coming up on the plastic. All right, there's one. Check my next one. Again, just check the corner. If everything comes up fine, continue to pull. If anything starts to pull away with the plastic top, just stop and iron some more. And then the last one here, and it looks like right here is a good example. See how this exclamation point isn't on there at all. So I'm just going to return my fabric here, my pressing cloth. I'm going to give that a little more pressing time. give it just a little bit more. Especially making sure that exclamation point. And it's perfectly all right for you to go over these as you're pressing. It's not going to hurt anything. See, pulls right up. Again, we're going to give it just 30 seconds or so to cool. Otherwise, it's going to pull right up with the vinyl. And now we'll check this little corner. Ooh, still bubbling a little. Gonna press again. And this can vary depending on your iron as well. This is a Hamilton Beach iron. It gets pretty hot, but if you have a industrial iron or you're using something that you've used for quite some time for quilting, those irons are usually a little bit hotter than something that's made really just for clothes pressing. All right, while we let that cool just a minute, we're going to go ahead and place the cupcake. And the cupcake is actually in 2 layers. So we're going to put this little cupcake in here. We're going to place the pink layer, and then we're going to come back and place the black layer. So we'll go ahead and put our pressing cloth over the cupcake now. And press that down. And again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It doesn't hurt to give it a good press. It's not going to melt the plastic. Make sure you have a pressing cloth. That's the only stipulation. And actually a thin pressing cloth works much better than a thick one. So we're going to try this icing one more time while we kind of let our that icing is not coming up. Let's let our cupcake cool for a minute and continue to work on our icing. All right, let's see if our cupcake adhered. Ooh, cupcake looks good. Got our pink layer here. Again, we want to pull at a 45-degree angle, just making sure that everything is adhering as we're coming up. Anything that looks a little bit bubbly, or if it's not sticking quite straight, we can always go back over it. Now this one's going to actually get a little cupcake liner. So we have the frosting on the top. We're going to line up our cupcake on the bottom. Let's check our icing on top here. Ooh, looks like we've got it this time. Like I said, ironing takes a little bit of patience. Ironing takes a little bit of patience, so give it just a minute. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times. There we go. Here's a prime example. Again, that I and C is not sticking where it needs to, so we're just going to lay that back down and give it a bit more. Right directly on that I and C. All right. And then we'll come back to our cupcake here. We want to make sure that we get our cupcake liner. Adhered. Do a quick press on it. And again, it's important to just give them a minute to cool. "30 seconds or so. There we go. That eye looks good. There we go. Icing took a minute. But now it's on there, and then that's still pretty hot, so we're just going to fan it just for a minute. Again, this just helps us make sure that it's adhering to the bag and not the plastic. So we're going to pull, there we go. 45-degree angle really does help. rather than pulling straight. And there we have it. The last thing I like to do once everything is adhered to it is just do a quick once over, just making sure everything is sticking down. And these bags are washable. I do turn them inside out to wash them and then just dry them. Not in the dryer, but just air dry them. And there you have it, a completed bag.